Not gonna lie, this movie feels like Batman the Animated Series mixed with a bad episode of Family Guy, and I'm not a fan. Poison Ivy and Floronic Man, with the aid of a mind-controlled Harold Goldblum, raid a research site in Gotham and discover the formula needed to make a supervirus, which will turn all of the world's inhabitants into human-plant hybrids. Batman and Nightwing are hot on their trail, with Batman using his government contacts to figure out what they're up to, while Nightwing figures out a way to find Ivy through her old friend Harley Quinn, who has attempted to go straight, though is stuck doing a slutty waitressing job because of her criminal past. After Nightwing and Harley the trio go on a road trip to find Ivy and stop hers and Floronic Man's plan, and shenanigans ensue. At the end of it all, they end up in Louisiana in the bayou where Swamp Thing was created. Though Swamp Thing appears, he doesn't help, and our heroes and a reformed Ivy are unable to defeat Floronic Man, until Harley suggests setting him on fire. Cut to credits. Yes, it's that sudden. Oh, and Harley has a Dr. Phil meets American Ninja Warrior show in the post-credits scene. Yay? So, I don't like this movie. I described it as Batman the Animated Series mixed with Family Guy, but another apt description would be later seasons of Big Bang Theory without the laugh track. Lots of melodrama, quote-unquote jokes in the most pleb of tiers, and lots of long, awkward silences where laugh tracks are supposed to go. I know I've said it before, but I honestly have no clue what I'm supposed to say about this movie. It did absolutely nothing for me, and the entire experience kind of went in one ear and out the other because it was so boring. So, I recently got a job at Raymore and Flanagan. It's a northeastern furniture chain. And as part of my training, I had to watch an hour-long seminar talking about workplace safety called Remember Charlie, about a guy named Charlie who neglected the safety procedures in place at the refinery he worked at, and he nearly died from an ensuing explosion and took like 5 or 10 years to recover, and how hellish the recovery process was from start to finish. And the reason I tell you this is because you need to know that I found that training video infinitely more engaging than this movie. It just has nothing to latch onto for me. I admittedly care very little about the Harley Quinn character, but even given my indifference, this movie does very little to endear me to her. For one, I don't find her funny, which is a problem in a comedy. I don't have anything more to say on that because comedy is so subjective, so I'll go on to say that the movie tries to give her something by showing how hard it is for her to get a job with her criminal history.
Check this out, smart guy. My pile of rejection letters. Evidently, the Mayo Clinic's got some dumb policy of not hiring former costume supervillains. Just like every other hospital in the world.
There are other jobs.
Oh, sure. I got a ton of offers. We got a very special role for you in Bad Girls After Dark. And you gotta love this one. A tasteful pictorial to be shot in Thailand for legal reasons. You say I'm a criminal. They say I'm a hooah. Well, I'm sick of other people telling me what I am.
But that's one scene where a lot of it is taken up by Nightwing being super horny anyway.
Hey, Nightwing, is it true you used to be Robin? Huh, ain't that a kick in the pants? Little boy wonder all grown up.
Okay now, don't be getting any funny ideas.
Too late.
Besides that, she's just a goofball, where the movie tries to pass her off as just, she's so misunderstood, and, you know, all this when she's a psychotic murderer. Her big emotional breakdown before the final act is just completely incomprehensible when tracking the arc of her character, and nothing she did ever really appealed to me. By the same token, both Nightwing and Batman are terrible. They act similarly to their series counterparts, I guess, but have random comedic moments thrown in there that feel completely out of place, especially for Batman. If they did this movie in the art style of Brave and the Bold, I would likely have less issue with how they treat the characters. It's not that that show is bad at all, like this movie is, but it undeniably has a lighter tone than Batman the Animated Series, which would fit better with the lighter tone of this movie. As it is, I feel like I'm being explicitly pandered to with the art style. This shares no continuity with the animated series, has a completely different tone, and has basically nothing at all to do with it. So why? Why this art style? I know, because they knew it would appeal to nostalgic nerds, and I hate that. I hate nostalgia when it's used against consumers like this. It's disgusting. This movie has more to do with the Harley Quinn show rather than Batman the Animated Series, because any semblance of an emotional through line is in Harley's relationship with Poison Ivy, which isn't focused on at all, but they do have a moment at the end. Again, why this art style? And guys, I know it's a comedy, and I know that superheroes are silly, but come on. You don't need to subject us to fart humor.
Oh, man.
Or boner humor.
We're all grown up.
Or have all of this gratuitous boob shaking and ass shots. Well-told jokes are hard. I get it. But if you're making a comedy, you can do better. The only moment that made me laugh was towards the end, where the trio was in the Louisiana bayou. Harley complains about the bugs, complains that Batman doesn't keep bug spray of all things in his utility belt, and as she's walking away, there's a very quick moment where she hits herself trying to hit a fly, and that made me laugh mostly because I was absolutely exhausted and my concentration was heavily wavering by that point. That's the best moment for me, and the only reason I have to recommend the movie.
Boy Scout you turned out to be. Ow!
Is Batman and Harley Quinn a bad movie? Yes, very much so. Is it offensively bad though? No. Like I said, it's like Family Guy or Big Bang Theory. They're so inoffensive and stupid and pointless that the minute you watch it, you forget what happened. It's a very disappointing example of a movie being so aggressively mediocre that the only noteworthy thing about it is that it's so unnoteworthy.
Oh, shucks.